Hello and welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Kiki, Life, Love, and all that other shit. I am your host, award-winning author Kiki Chanel, owner of 19 Lifestyle Magazine. Today I am joined with a very special guest, but you guys know how I like to do. I like to give my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves, so I'm going to turn it over to her. Cara, did I say your name right?
Yeah, it's Kara, but it's totally
Cara?
fine. Totally fine. I'll
Okay.
answer to anything.
Okay, Kara, go ahead. Thank you for coming to kick it with me. Go ahead and tell the listeners who you are and what you do.
Yeah. I'm a USA Today best-selling romance novelist in my current job. So I've written over 40 books. The first one became a movie on Lifetime, and I also wrote a Hallmark movie. So I'm all about the happily ever afters. But in 2023, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, which sort of put the skids on the happily ever after a little bit. Thankfully, I'm now in remission, but I wrote a book about my experience called There's No Good Book for This. But I wrote one anyway, The Irreverent Guide to Crushing Breast Cancer. So that's
Wow, that
that's
is
just a little about
amazing.
me.
Yeah, that's a great resume. I'm so glad that you are in remission. Um,
Me too.
because that journey has affected a lot of people, and the fact that you are smiling and you're here kicking it with me today, you've written a book about it. That is awesome. So thank you for being here again.
Thank you.
So we're gonna get into life real quick. Um, how have words been vital to overcoming life's adversities for you, Kara?
Oh yeah. Well, storytelling and writing and reading, it's just like my lifeblood. It's what I love to do. I've loved stories since I was a little kid. I just couldn't, I had a always when we went to the library, I had a giant stack of books, to come home with. And writing has just been always my way of expressing my feelings. And talking about kind of creating a world that I want to exist in my fiction books. So
Mhm.
writing, I just think is essential. Like it's a way to get thoughts down on paper in just an authentic, real way that maybe we have a hard time voicing and talking about sometimes.
Mhm.
So for me, in just my entire life, writing has always been just essential, just key for me.
Same. It was my like escape from
Yeah.
reality. Because my,
Yes.
my parents said that I was like this child that didn't really like people. So they would always find me inside the closet or under my bed with a notepad or a book or
Sure.
something. So
Sure.
I take pride in that though. I take pride in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree. I understand and I agree with you wholeheartedly about the words and writing and things like that. Why is choosing the right words and using them in a positive way important to personal as well as professional relationships?
Yeah, well, words are so powerful, aren't they? I mean, a compliment to someone in the day can make their day, and an insult can ruin their day. I mean, a words are so incredibly powerful, and I think sometimes we forget that. Even the non-writers among us forget how powerful words can be, how they stick with us for a long time. And I think, especially, for me in dealing with breast cancer, like negative self-talk was such a drain for me, just the doubt and the worry and the fear. And so I think it was just especially important for me through that whole treatment process just to lean into the positive. And when I say positive, I don't mean just like live, laugh, love,
Right.
like and
Yeah.
ignoring the bad stuff. You can be salty and positive too, which is sort of my favorite, salty, sarcastic positivity. But I think it's important not to like, beat ourselves up too much just in the day, whether we're dealing with something small or something big. We should be our biggest cheerleaders, and often we're our huge critics instead. Like we're just our worst critics instead of our best cheerleaders. So I don't know about you, but sometimes I struggle with that negative playlist in my head of, imposter syndrome and you're not going to make it and everyone is going to know you're a fake. And, those thoughts just aren't true. So I think it's important for us to challenge them when we can.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally understand. And I have been there. I've gotten a
Hmm.
whole lot better though. You
Yeah.
know what helped me get better It's celebrating the wins.
Yes.
Even though
Yes.
you have an accomplishment, I'm always off to the next thing. I don't sit in it and
Yeah.
take it all in. So for me, I have learned to celebrate the wins and like gas myself up, so to speak. Like because
Yeah.
it's a big deal. Like those accomplishments, they matter.
Exactly. No, exactly. I think that's so true. Before my diagnosis, I just wouldn't celebrate the wins. When I hit the USA Today bestseller list, I sort of said, well, that's great, but it's not like the New York Times. So, like giving myself shade on that,
Hmm, hmm.
and I'm like, why, and I just let that kind of go. Like, okay, well, I'm just going to give myself half compliments. But then, I had a double mastectomy, like a very serious surgery, and I had ramped myself up for it, like, eating right, doing what my doctor said, like trying to walk, like, get some more exercise and, just do what I could to be ready. And I went through the surgery. I didn't run to Australia like sort of I wanted to do. Like, up until the last minute, I'm like, what is the airfare to Australia right now? But I actually went through the surgery, got myself there, recover, did fine and recovered and gave myself like a genuine compliment, like a you did a good job, like we should
Hmm.
celebrate this. And I realized I think that was like the first time in my adult life that I had really genuinely given myself a compliment with no shade,
Right.
attached.
I
It's,
I love that. I love that, Kara, giving yourself a compliment with no shade.
yes, yes,
Yes, I
right?
love that.
It's
That
so
is so
hard.
necessary.
It is. And I think for us women, I think we're just so hard on ourselves almost all the time. Like we just can't take the W, take the win,
Yeah,
which we just
I totally
should.
understand. I don't know why that is. I guess because we have such a nurturing spirit,
Yeah.
we try to stay in that space and I know that I've tend to take on other people's like stuff problems and they
Yeah.
never ask me to.
Yeah. Right. Right. Like that's not part of our job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know. And I think too, at least for me, part of it was, if I throw myself enough shade, then I'll just be better next time. Like I felt like if I was mean enough to myself, maybe I would improve
Hmm.
somehow. Like maybe I was, or not letting myself get too you know, ego driven, like, full of myself. Like I was gonna keep myself humble, but I don't think we need to keep ourselves humble. I don't think that's our problem.
Right. Right. I mean, because you're a big deal. Like you're a big
Yeah.
deal. Like
Yeah.
you're doing something that someone else is not doing, but
Right.
they're doing it in their
Right.
own way, which means you
Exactly.
are the person that
Exactly.
can get those compliments and without the shade and things like that. So
Right.
I think it's important to just build yourself up, like you said, be your
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
cheerleader because that way when other people don't celebrate you, you're able to celebrate yourself. And I celebrate myself all the time.
Which is good. I'm so, so glad. And what a wonderful example you're setting too for the rest of us. Like that, like we should all do that more often.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna get into the love segment real
Yeah.
quick. When did you first fall in love with words?
Yeah. Oh, well, it was when I first learned to read. I mean, I think, my parents read me stories, but when I first learned to read, my mom took me to the bookstore to pick out a picture book, so that I could take home to read. And it was after work. It was getting dark, and but I was so excited. She kept the car light on, the interior car light, so I could read,
Oh,
my picture book on the way home. And she loves to tell that story. She's a retired elementary school teacher, so of course reading is
yeah,
big for her.
right.
Um, but she just made it a priority, and didn't quash any excitement about it. Like always took me to bookstores, the library. Like I always had a book in my hand, always encouraged me to read. And she loved to read too. That's why I stole some of her romance novels when I got to the steamy
Right.
part.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so I think it was just, I mean, from the start, like as soon as I could read, I just fell in love with words. Like I just felt like it was magic. Like, you could just transport yourself to a different place and how
Right.
what an incredible force that is. That's amazing.
It is. I love your mom for that because I did that with my kids and they
Yeah.
still read to this day.
Yeah.
But my aunt, one of my aunts was an elementary school teacher. So reading was like, you go read in this house. So
Yes.
but
Yes.
it wasn't in a forceful way. She always made it like a happy place.
Yeah.
Like you go pick out the book you want me to read to you. You pick out your book. So we
Yes.
all got the to experience the things that we wanted to experience. And so I'm a reading
Exactly.
program at the library for our family. It was like a competition. I'm gonna
Yeah,
get
of
that ice
course.
cream cone at the end of the summer,
Exactly.
you know?
Right, right. Who's gonna get that free pizza? We're all working on it. I know.
Yes. I love that though. And I think, how do you believe, like, what do you think as far as literacy is concerned? How important is it to start at home first?
Oh, it's so important. I mean, I think sometimes we forget how much kids look up to us
Mhm.
and not just what we say, but what we do. So I think, reading in front of your kids is important. Reading to your kids is important, but also showing that you read too,
Right,
is really, really important. Because the love of language, the love of words, it's so important. And I think becoming more important now that we've got, AI on the horizon. And some people are saying eventually we might not even read books. And I'm like, oh no,
right.
like,
Yeah,
no, we should all keep reading. Like it would be like, saying don't watch movies ever again. That would be
right.
sad too, I mean,
Yeah.
the escapism of it, the learning that we do about other cultures, other people, my favorite quote is, a reader lives, thousands of lifetimes because we,
Right.
pick up that book and we are transported to another world, another time, another planet sometimes,
Hmm.
But yeah, it starts at home. You're so right. It's very important. Like that's
It,
that's where the love begins, I think.
I believe so too. I totally understand and I agree. I agree with you. I love this conversation. I'm loving this conversation. Thank you for
Yes,
being here. It's
of
amazing.
course.
How did you know words were a part of your life's purpose though?
Yeah, I very like really quickly after I started reading, I was wanting to write. Like I just wanted to write. Like because I loved the stories I was reading, but I was also like I could try this. I could try to create my own world. And what a heady feeling that is when you create characters and a universe and you can move them around like dolls in a dollhouse. I mean, I just loved it. I think one of my first tries was like a fantasy world of unicorns and all of the things like a 10-year-old girl loves, you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Magic and princesses and all of that good stuff. But yeah, I always loved storytelling. I always wanted to do it. Uh, in college, I was like, I'm gonna be a novelist. Like, I'm gonna write fiction. And my very career-minded Japanese American dad is like, but what are you gonna do for money, though? But I mean, we love you, but you're not coming back home. Go make a living. What are you gonna do?
Uh-huh.
you know? And I said, well, how about journalism? That's, it's words, it's writing. So I worked at the student newspaper, and then that was the job I got out of college as a newspaper reporter, and then transitioned over to marketing writing and wrote my first novel while I was, employed as a marketing writer for a hospital network. And that became I Do But I Don't. That was a Lifetime movie and just sort of started my career as a fiction writer. Now, of course, my dad's very excited about my
Uh-huh.
fiction career. Now
I
he's like,
bet.
oh, it does pay the bills. That's great.
Right, right. I mean, but I understand because my parents was like, okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. And I'm glad that you have a support system because not
Yeah.
everybody has that. So,
Oh
um,
yeah, and my dad, by the way, is my biggest fan.
yeah,
It doesn't matter how steamy the romance novel is. He'll be handing it out to his friends. He'll be posting it on Facebook. He's a proud papa. So like, it's so funny because he's like, a retired like doctor, but he's, here, read this
yeah.
romance novel from Harlequin,
My daughter wrote that. You should check it
Yeah, my
out.
daughter
Right.
wrote that.
I love it. I love it. Has there ever been a time that words failed you?
Uh,
When and how did you push through?
oh, yeah. I think it we're, I've always been a voracious writer and reader, but words do sometimes fail. And I think, specifically for me, going through difficult, very, very difficult times, I specifically like when I was in my early 30s, my very first pregnancy ended in a miscarriage. And, I was trying to start a new book and I just couldn't. I mean, I
Mhm.
think grief is such a overwhelming thing. It does what it wants when it wants, and it did not want me to write.
Right.
you
Been
know?
there. I've been
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. So, it took me a long while to sort of get back to it, and in many ways, like getting back to writing, offers such a healing thing too. Once you can do it, you can't always do it right away, and I would say show yourself a lot of grace because sometimes you need that time away. Sometimes you just need to, try to get your feet on the ground again before you can create a world with,
Right.
yeah, with
Absolutely.
other things. So yeah. And when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, the opposite happened. I was journaling every day. I was, writing down all those fears, all the time. So I think it just depends on what's going on in your life. I think grief is a hard one, though. Yeah.
It is. It is. And I stepped away for a while too because of same thing, like life happens and sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
just don't have it in you. And it's
Yeah.
okay to take that time. Anyone who is listening, it's okay to take the time to pour into yourself because sometimes you just don't have it to give to others.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
during my healing journey, I had to realize that I was carrying other people's pain. So it
Yeah.
wasn't until I let go of their pain that my healing started to blossom.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you did. And I'm so glad you mentioned that too, because it's so true of so many of us because we are caregivers, because
Mhm.
we take care of others. And sometimes we take on other people's pain and grief and worry, and we don't even sort through our own, you
Right.
know. And that can blindside us quite often. So, and you're right, taking the time is important. And even more than that, that time of healing gives you that perspective that you need as a writer, because that's the most important thing, life
Right.
experience and perspective in your
Right.
writing. And so while you're living life, sometimes you have to put writing on hold. It's true.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Carrie, you've written over 35 books from
Yeah.
rom-coms to young adult fiction.
Yes.
How does one go from meet cutes and happy endings to double mastectomies and chemo and still keep it funny?
I know. I know. It's a challenge. It's
Mhm.
not easy. It's not easy.
Mhm.
But I would say, I mean, humor is also a big part of my life. I love humor. I use it to cheer myself up. I use it to deflect things I don't want to talk about. I use it in self-defense.
Yep.
So I love humor. Sometimes it's harder to find in others, especially in serious moments. But I would
Mhm.
also say that humor really is your best defense against some of the worst things that happen in life. Because with cancer came all of that overwhelming fear, just paralyzing flight or fright or freeze fear of, my life is might end much sooner than I want. There might be very painful things happening. How am I going to deal with this? And I think humor helps steal back fear's power.
Mhm.
And if you can laugh at something, it's not nearly as scary as if you can't.
Right. Absolutely.
Making fun of something can help quite a lot. And I was so lucky in that my partner, my husband, PJ, is just so amazing and keeps me laughing at just the right moments. Like he really, you know, took it upon himself to try to find humor where we could. And so I think I could see the bright side largely because of him, but
Mhm.
also because I was looking for it. You have to, in dark moments, uh, you have to like look harder for joyful things because they're still there. They're just, hidden in the shadows sometimes. So we have to just, search a little harder and try to find them. I don't know about you. I mean, I'm sure, sometimes joy feels like it's slipping through your fingers. I don't know if that makes
Absolutely.
sense.
It does. I love that you talk about that because sometimes joy is always there, but like you said, it's just hidden in the shadows, just
Yeah.
waiting. Hey, I'm here.
I'm
Wait,
here.
wait, I'm
Find
here.
something. Find
Look
something.
this way.
Yeah.
Look this way. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and sometimes it could be very small. I think we should celebrate the small things too. That's one of the things I learned through chemotherapy. Chemotherapy was, not fun. Lost all my
Hmm.
hair, was nauseous a lot of the time. I had to give up coffee, which is my literal favorite thing in the morning. It just upset my stomach too much. Like
Yeah.
even, and that was the thing. I mean, my kids and friends all give me like coffee sweatshirts and coffee coffee lover, caffeine drip, all of those things.
Yeah.
And I had to give it up. And was like it just was amazing how that small thing, out of my life was like just such a joy sucker. Like I was like,
Right.
oh no, no coffee. Like, and you would think like all the losing the hair and the other thing. No, it was the coffee. Like, I was like, you're kidding me with this.
Yeah.
Um, so I had to like find some herbal teas, which sounds really sad, but there are some really good herbal teas out there. And there's
Yeah. I love
chai, and
everything.
there's some,
Hmm.
yeah, and there's some other things that I was like, oh, this is really good, actually. I
Hmm.
really do like this. So finding some replacements. And then when the coffee came back, what a reunion.
Yeah. I bet it was.
Like a long lost true love,
Right.
So, yeah. So sometimes it's harder to find joy, but it's still there. It's still
Hmm.
there. Yeah.
Right. It is. I believe that it is, and I'm glad that you say that because someone needed to hear that. So,
Yeah.
anyone who is listening who is going through their own dark
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
look to the shadows a little bit. The joy is there,
Joy's
happiness is
there.
there,
Yeah.
grace is there, kindness is there. We just have to look a little deeper.
Yeah.
You may have to put a little glasses on and just,
That's
look to the
right. Shine
left
a
or the
light.
right. Yeah. Get a flashlight. It's there. It's there.
Exactly.
All right, so we're moving into all that other shit. We're talking about books and breast cancer.
Yeah.
Um, there's no good book for this, but I wrote one anyway. Let's talk about that. How did
Yeah.
that come about, and when did you know that that was something that you wanted to put out for the world to have some type of reference?
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned I had been doing so much journaling, just pouring out all those emotions. And I did that through the whole process, the whole 16 months of treatment. And a good friend of mine actually was brought up the idea. She's like, you really should write a book. You really should make this a book. Like, you're an accomplished writer, you know how to write. You should write this experience because it's just happening, to so many people. And unfortunately, it's true. Like breast cancer rates, are rising, and especially Asian American women are some of the highest among all different racial groups of new cancer because it's unfortunately, just on the rise for everyone. And
Mhm.
so we should all get our mammograms when we can, by the way. So,
Right. Absolutely.
yes, everyone get your mammograms. Early detection is key, especially for women of color.
Right.
I'll get off my soapbox, but um, so, I felt like there wasn't a book out there that talked about the emotional journey of cancer and how humor can help you and how, looking for joy in those dark places might help you. So I decided to write a book as if your best friend were telling you the truth of what's going on. So it's a little salty, it's a little sarcastic, but it's also very hopeful. Every chapter ends in a pep talk, which I think we could all use regardless of what we're going through. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I just decided that I thought it could help. If I could help one person feel like they could, weather this journey, then it would be worth it.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
And I love how every chapter ends with a pep talk.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need that. Like,
Yes. Yes.
that is an amazing idea. How did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, I first of all, like when I went to my first chemotherapy treatment, I told my husband, who's also like a little league soccer coach, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need a pep talk. Like I'm gonna like I'm scared, like I don't want to go, like I kind of want to like again, well, how much is that? How much is that fare to Australia? Can I get there? Can I just get there and
Right.
deal with everything later? Um, and he's like, okay. And so on the way in the car, I was expecting a very somber, solemn moment. Like, okay, this is going to be serious. And he just starts hooping and hollering. And he's like, yeah, let's go get him. Let's go get him. Like a coach,
Uh-huh.
you know. And I started laughing. I'm like, why are we so excited about going to chemotherapy? And he's like, well, you needed a pep talk. That's a pep talk. Like, let's
Right.
go. Let's go kick its butt. Let's do it.
Uh-huh.
And so after that, he just there was a whole bunch of series of silly pep talks, but also, um, uplifting pep talks too. So, and it underscored for me the fact that as adults, we don't get the pep talks. Like we're not, most of us aren't in team sports. We're not getting,
Right.
pep talks. We're not, getting that like little boost of encouragement we need.
Mhm.
And we all need it. Like Navy SEALs are trained to give themselves pep talks. So if they need it, then the rest of us should give ourselves pep talks too. So yeah, that's where the idea came from.
I love that. Shout out to PJ. He is awesome.
I know, I know. He is the absolute best. He's literally the best.
Right. Okay. Why words matter as much as medicine? Like every chapter, we know you said ends in a pep talk. Um, what's one pep talk you'd give someone who just got their news from their doctor?
Yeah, I would say first of all, cancer doesn't get to decide. So that's the first thing that anybody who's going through this needs to know because it feels like cancer just busts into your life, turns everything upside down, knocks over all the tables and chairs, decides it's in charge. Now you're at its whim. But cancer doesn't get to decide. You still get to decide what treatment you get, what doctors you see, if you get treatment at all. I mean, it's your choice.
Right.
So the first thing I would tell people is cancer doesn't get to decide. And then the very second thing I would tell people is you are so much stronger than you think you are. You are so much stronger. Like when you feel like you're done, you're only 40% there. Like
Mm,
you've got a lot more in the tank than you give yourself credit for. So
mhm.
just take a deep breath, one day at a time. And there's just no way but through. But you'll make it. You'll get there.
There's no way but through.
There's
Okay,
no way but through.
okay with the bars.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I
Great
spent a
word.
lot of I spent a lot of time trying to convince myself I could get that plane ticket, I could go around, maybe I didn't need this, maybe I didn't need that. There's a lot of bargaining until I just got to acceptance. And there's no way but through sometimes.
Right.
You don't have to go through pretty, you don't have to be a gazelle, you just have to get through.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Okay, so let's talk about what not to say. Because
Yeah.
I have been where I wanted to just slap somebody
Yeah.
for saying, like, not to me. Well, I've had somebody say some crazy stuff to me too when I was going through some things, but
Yeah.
listening to what they say to other people,
Yeah.
like, what has been the cringiest or most unhelpful thing someone has said to you during
Yeah.
your treatment? Like, what?
Yeah. I really think it's along the lines of like everything happens for a reason. It's the same with like God has a plan and this is God's plan. Well, I mean, this sounds like a terrible plan then. I don't know,
Right. Like,
right?
why
Like this is,
me? Like,
yeah, yeah. Because and I think it's because those platitudes really try to make the speaker feel better.
mhm,
It's about them thinking, oh, something terrible's happened, but it's all going to be okay. We'll all
mhm.
have a reason for it. There's got to be something good that comes out of it. But the person in it is like, what do you mean? It sounds like you're glad I got cancer. What are you
Yes.
saying? Are you saying congrats, I have cancer? That's
Right.
terrible. Like, what are you saying? So, I mean, and I've said boneheaded things I mean, we're human. Like,
Uh-huh.
we always, sometimes you say the wrong thing just because, you're shocked and you just rely on a platitude that comes into your head. But
Hmm.
I think if we all made a better effort to do more listening and less like dismissing of what's going on. So I encourage everyone just to ask curious questions. Like, oh,
Hmm.
I can't imagine how that feels. How are you feeling?
Right.
Fine. Great thing to say.
Right. Exactly. Just ask how you're feeling. Like, how are you doing?
Yeah. How are you
That is the most
handling it?
genuine thing that you could say, and it's a conversation starter. You give the person that's sitting in that reality a chance to let you become a part of it with them.
Yes. Yeah. Because I think honestly, that's what anyone going through a difficult time wants because it feels so isolating. Like I'm having this horrible thing happen to me. And a lot of people just, they don't have the bandwidth to deal with it, or they're too scared themselves to deal with it because this brings up things that scare them. So they'd
Right.
rather like pity and pivot. They'd rather like, oh, I'm so sorry. Can we talk about something else?
Yeah,
You know?
pity and pivot. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So just like sitting in the moment with someone and letting them steer the conversation is a gift. It's a gift because it's uncomfortable for you, but trust me, they're having a worse time. You
Hmm.
know?
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, so this has been amazing. Thank you again for being here. Before we get out of here, what takeaways do you want your readers to get from your books?
Yeah. I would like people to know that anyone can be a warrior. When I was first diagnosed, people were like, oh, you're a fighter, you've got it. And I'm like, I am a pacifist. I hate conflict. I like to garden in my free time. I am not a fighter. Like, fighting weeds, I don't like. What?
Got
No.
that.
Yeah, like, me? No. So but it's a journey. It's a journey. It's also finding out what's important to you and dealing with the fear and um, squaring up to do hard things. But we can all do it. Like we all have it in us to do hard things, to triumph over difficulties. To face our fears. I'm not special. I am not unique. I am not, a superhero. Anyone can do this. Like anyone can face something difficult and come out stronger and better on the other side. So I would just encourage everyone, um, to face those fears, to do those hard things. You can do it. Like you really can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's next for you? What you have coming on? Do you have anything that you can share? What's coming for 2026?
Yeah, yeah, I'm actually really excited. I'm back to writing happily ever afters and
Okay.
fiction.
Mhm.
But my next book is a mystery rom-com. So it's sort of like if you like Only Murders in the Building, but you wish there were more romance in it. This book is called Kiss, Marry, Kill. So it's about a failed podcaster who um, points the finger at the wrong suspect, ends up having to go home to her small resort town, and the killer may follow her home there. I'm not saying
Oh,
she may be dating the killer as well. We're just gonna have to read
I,
the book to find out. So
I love that. I write psychological thrillers and suspense, so
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
all about that. I love that. I
yeah.
cannot wait to read that. Make sure you keep us posted. Maybe you can
Will
come back and
do.
talk about it when you release it.
Absolutely. I would love
Yeah.
that. I would love to come
Okay.
back and talk about it.
It's the date. We're gonna get it together.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right. So how can listeners connect with you? Where do you hang out on social media, website, all the things? Let us know.
Yeah. So you can find me at caratheauthor.com. That's Cara with a C, caratheauthor.com. It has all my social media handles on Instagram and everywhere that I am. So you can connect with me there and or drop me a line anytime.
Absolutely. Well, it has been amazing. What last words, thoughts, motivation, or anything that you would like to share with the readers today before we say goodbye?
Oh yeah, I would say, I would say you can do this. You can do this. You think you can't do it, but you can.
Absolutely. You guys heard it here. Kara, thank you for coming to kick with me today. It has been an amazing. You're one of my top five. Ah,
Yay!
yes, yes,
Yay!
yes.
Yay!
Like each episode gets a little better. It's just when we talk about books and words, they just have more meaning to me.
I
So thank you
know.
for being
Thank
here. Thank you for
you.
writing and being a lover of words like myself. It is always a pleasure and an honor to meet fellow authors. Um, much continued success for you. Um, keep doing what you're supposed to do and keep showing up and
Yeah.
going through life. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen. I mean, it's better than the alternative. We all know that. But
That's right.
um,
That's right.
yes.
Well,
So
thank you
thank,
so much. Thank you for all the great work you're doing for words on
thank
this
you.
podcast. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. And you guys have been listening to another episode of Kicking It with Kiki, Life, Love, and all that other shit. I am back with a new episode on Thursdays, all major streaming platforms as well as YouTube. So go ahead and tell a friend, and we can all be friends. Until next time, purple hugs. Later.